Welcome back to Big Data Days 2024, day number 2, track number 2. We are very honored to have our guest speaker, Eric, who is going to take us on an interesting topic called Reimagine the Service Offering, a pathway to AI-powered enterprise services. How are you doing, Eric?
Hi, John. How are you? I'm very well, thank
good.
you.
I'm good. This is actually quite a interesting topic that you've come up with, Eric, for all of us today. I hope to learn more from you on this pathway to AI-powered enterprise services. Should be interesting, I must say.
Thank you, John. And I would say, let's just cut to the chase.
Sure.
Today's session, it is all about something very simple. It is not about the latest advancement or innovation we have with AI technology in general, or the hype or the prediction of tomorrow or next year. It is something very simple. It is about, if you have the technology at hand, so what? You then have to present the idea, the concept, to hopefully have a paying customer. And that is the conversation I try to give you some hint, some framework, some pathway, so that you can apply to your own organization. And please do me a favor, reach out if you find something that is interesting, something relevant, or something that you think it was wrong. Reach out to me. Happy to go through it. Thank you.
All right. Let's hand over the session to you and take us through this exciting topic. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Nguyen, and today we'll go through the part that not many people really talked about, but actually it is essential. It is around the last mile of the AI technology. If you have it, then so what? I'm talking about the service offering. It is all about what you can offer the client, the customer. So, okay, so this is the agenda of today. I will keep it short, to the point, and so we have time for questions. So with the agenda, I want to highlight a couple of things. We will go through the definition of a service and service offering. So the intention is to make it simple for non-technical as well as technical and business leaders to be on the same page. And then we will go through some newly development in the space of AI and AI adoption. Then I will share with you the 5 key approach so that you can reimagine your service offerings, including sell the vision and AI ecosystem, sell the AI potential, sell the delta, sell the USP or unique selling point, and sell the vibe. Then after those 5 approach, I will share with you some case study that I think can link back to the 5 approach I walked through. Then finally, we have takeaway and Q&A. Okay, let's kick off with service and service offering. What we have on the screen on the left-hand side, it is the definition by ServiceNow. When they define, but they give you I think a very good example of what is service. In layman terms, service is just about you buy the outcome without the cost of ownership or risk or complexity. For example, ServiceNow, they offer the Now platform, software as a service, as you can see on the right-hand side. So anyone can make use of those powerful platform without paying upfront all the investment and effort. Then on top of that, after we have the service, we go through what we call a service offering, where we will basically we have 4 aspects of service offering, including availability, scope, pricing, and packaging option for the customer to pick and choose. And one more thing I want to highlight, for technical practitioner or technical in particular, like developer or project or product delivery team, most of the time they do not have the exposure to this stage of service offering. And I think today's session, I want to give a chance to those technical non-business stakeholder in a way to have a glimpse of how things can be done and how they can share their thinking with all other stakeholders and decision maker. All right, now let's go into the in the news, put it that way. Let's just review what happened in the space of AI and AI adoption at enterprise since January of this year. So there are a couple of highlights I want to call out. First thing first, it is about the technical breakthrough in the space of AI. We talk about, like say, open AI. We can remember there's the wave of shock when the Sora model, AI model, was introduced back in February. Literally, the impossible is now possible, and they keep coming. In particular, just yesterday, OpenAI, they have released the latest model. They call it OpenAI 4.0 omnichannel. So now we see that the capability and the possibility has been pushing further. However, on the other hand, AI regulations play catch up. In particular, in March 2024, the EU, they adopt the landmark law to basically set the boundary to control, to monitor and control the technology and the provider. So that is very important to have in mind. The third highlight I want to call out is the gold rush, as we call now with AI, and all the buzz, all the excitement, all the hype. But actually, who actually now have been benefit? The shovel, as they call, including data center, including NVIDIA, basically the provider, the chip provider, who are actually behind all of those advancement. So as you can see, even though the booming in the space of innovation hasn't directly drive that revenue and benefit to those creators, however, others along the ecosystem has made significant revenue out of it already. So that's something for us to think. The other key highlight over the past few months I want to call out is about the, as you see, that is number 4, is about what is it all about from decision maker, from business. It is about saving money and making money whereas they adopt AI technology. As you see on the screen, I highlight 3 sectors that so far overwhelmingly respond to the adoption, including service operation, manufacturing, and marketing and sales. We have a look at that, and we should have the question at the back of our mind: why? What make those sector have such a profound impact that they can measure, and strong, along with a strong indication that value and impact has been materialized. Moving on to the point of number 5, exponential growth in investment. In a nutshell, it is all about the hype is real, the potential is there. So we can see a huge amount of capital going to pour into those AI project and program of work. However, it means for you, anything you do now might be disrupted or even impact severely by the change of priorities within your organization. So that is the point that we need to pay attention to. On the other hand, the point number 6 and 7, it just give you a sense of what is going on behind the AI hype. I was surprised that tech layoff is still a thing over the past few months in 2024. As you can see, the number keep coming from the big, from all across sector, not just the key service provider like Google or Amazon. So it comes to the point number 7 about weak purchasing power. I think it is a critical part that we need to pay attention to. Even though it's just at a macro economy, we think that we just think about this. If there is a weak purchasing power, it means the money that is available for project and program gonna be shortened. So it is gonna be very much harder to work on priorities. Okay, and so to sum up, what we have in the news, it was a mix of good news and challenge around AI and AI adoption in across enterprise and organization. So now it's set a scene for me to share with you the 5 approach that I think you can you can use it as a lever to have the right conversation, the right impact, and the right direction to work out the service offering and service and even products with AI power. First thing first, it's called cell division and AI ecosystem. Let me introduce you something called general purpose technology or GPTech. The GPTech, there are 4 criteria to define it. For example, let's just take electricity. It is a recognizable generic technology. Initially, it has a scope for improvement. In another word, it was exciting. However, people struggle to really understand how they can use it safely and how they can get benefit out of it. Then over the time, there are many different use, and also there are many spillover effect. As you can see there on the screen on the right-hand side, we talk about electricity. There are a couple of factors. For example, the foundation of electricity we call is electron. This was only formally recognized in 1897. It's not very far from today's date. Then at first, it was an invention for you to be able to see, oh, we can electricity, you can have light, you can have heat, but it was more or less very limited usage. However, over the time, it turned into an extensive usage and cross-pollination ecosystem. As you can see, you have now we have like literally the whole modern society. It is have embedded electricity to and then to the modern society. And in another word, the definition of modern society, we have to acknowledge that electricity is part of that definition. One thing I want to call out from this definition of general purpose technology is there, especially around the case of electricity, there was no blueprint to say from day one that, hey, this invention, this great finding, gonna end up into the scale and the scope and the impact that we have now after a few hundred years. So it means something. It means the future is in our hand to make. There's no such things as a perfect roadmap for you to go from today. Now, if you look more closely into the case of electricity, I want to call out something about the timeline. As you see, between 1600 and 1800, it was all about discovery, experimentation, and inventions until the year of 1844, where we have electric telegraph for instant communication across long distance continents between Europe and the US, across country, across region. And from that year, 1844, to the year where we have the first nuclear power plant, 1954, literally it was only about 100 years. So you see, electricity, it took about humankind 200 years to figure it out, the the technology, the invention. And then after that 200 years of early adoption, we come to the stage where just within 100 years, we have literally turned that enormous potential technology into light bulb, into power line, into nuclear power plant. So it means the service offering associated with the technology, it doesn't come from the day one of the time we say we adopt it or we see the potential. It's gradually built up over the time. Okay, so now an AI is another general purpose technology in a way that you can see it meet the four criteria we mentioned earlier. There's a lot of room to growth. It has generic technology. For example, the generative AI is an example. However, it does have the spillover effect, as well as hopefully we can see many more use cases coming, but it will take time. On the slide here, I will just quickly point out the AI ecosystem is the key part to push the majority of AI technology as a general purpose technology. It will include invention, adoption, value co-creation, innovation, and adoption in order to grow that ecosystem. So if you have the conversation, think about ecosystem, and in that way you can you don't have to compete with the giants, but you're still part of the conversation. You are still part of the evolution, and you still make the immediate impact. Okay, now and I'll move on to the second approach. I call it sell the potential. In another word, it is around the buy-in conversation with internal stakeholders. So often, organizations want to embrace into this AI adoption. They want to ask about the value proposition, ask about what product, what service you can offer the client, rather than go from the very beginning, from a left-hand side of how much is the AI technology market worth. Then what is the niche market that the organization can excel in? In another word, we talk about the price, the want and the needs before the value proposition. However, so often, even from my own experience, leaders or stakeholders, they jump straight into the question number 3. They ask about what do customers want that my organization can offer the best values, and they ask directly to technical stakeholders, especially like say the CIO nowadays. A lot of them will have to present the answer where it is very hard for them to give anything without the context and the assurance from the organization. Okay, moving on to the 3 questions that I mentioned. Just a use case, for example, we talk about smart traffic camera. In another word, it is all about the technology. I think one of the greatest adoption of AI in everyday life. It generates great revenue stream for government all around the world. We talk about red light, we talk about speed camera, we talk about a real-time traffic monitoring. So if you see, let's say, if you are, let's say, an IT services and you want to expand your market into AI power services, rather than think about the proposition, I suggest that, let's say, what if we look at the industry, the price? Let's have a look at the smart traffic camera market. It was a very dynamic market with about 15%, over 15% growth year by year. The starting point now, as of this year, is around $13.7 billion US. It is good because when you look at the wants and the need, there's a lot that any company can tap into. We can talk about, see it from technical perspective. For example, storage, security, privacy, or we can talk about, we can see things from process improvement, like say automated enforcement from the time an infringement was identified all the way to the time that the fine was collected, or real-time monitoring, or smart city integration. Then after that pick and choose of the niche market, then you can think of the value proposition from your expertise, your value add, your USB, and also the AI part that you can participate. I think it is a better way to work out what is next that you can do with AI. The third option I want to share is about sell the delta. Be simple and specific. In another word, the ROI that some people talk about. For me, it is not about the ROI. It is about the delta, or the simple message. Do we make money out of it? Do we save money out of it? And do we generate long-term value? In particular, save money, it is normally a short-term benefit in the name of productivity. Think about the example with Microsoft Copilot. There were a number of research and case study around the early adopter that have used Microsoft Copilot, and they try to calculate the productivity gain. I think it is a great way for you to have the conversation about and reimagine your service offering from that save money conversation. Then we talk about, also think about make money. Again, it could be also a short-term benefit thing and long-term as well. We talk about, let's think about productivity, but then any value-added works or new revenue stream. For example, with Adobe Firefly, they are early adopter of generative AI in the space of creativity, and it is successful so far with the adoption. However, in terms of financial performance, there's still a way to catch up, but it is a good example for you to think about the angle of make money when you align with your service offering. Then last but not least, I want to call out the generate value aspect of the delta. It is all about the long-term value for any organization. We think about brand loyalty, scalability, and customer experience. For example, with a bank in Australia, their ANZ, they introduced ZGPT. It is not another chatbot. It is not another generative AI. It is a service that they basically offer the service that will attach to the three long-term value I mentioned: brand loyalty, scalability, and customer experience. And overall, with the delta here, how do you measure it? Right now, I think there are a number of tools that you can make use of. For example, value stream mapping, Lean Six Sigma, especially around the measure and improvement, prioritization matrix, aka the Eisenhower matrix. Then last but not least is also about the end-to-end process mapping. As you can see here, with this conversation around the delta, it is not really a technical advancement discussion. It is a conversation where people are more comfortable to be technology agnostic, but they are more into the part around what is important to the customer and to the organization. And I think we can find a common ground from this approach. What is the delta? Ask yourself, can you save money? Can you make money for the customer and work it back? Let's start from the end. Make it simple. Okay, now we go to the next approach. It is called sell the unique selling point, simplify the complexity. Let's dive into it. Over the weekend, I I spent some time at to watch this movie. It was a great movie. It's called The Margin Call, and the context was around the year 2008 in the US. The thing that I really took away from the movie was this quote: "There are three ways to make a living in this business: be first, be smarter, or cheat." Think about it. Be first, be smarter, or cheat. It is all about the core message, the unique selling point. Um, I when I look through the market, the whole and simplify the whole hype and complexity since the year 2023, I realized that there are, I can put it into this quadrant around the core message. On the left-hand side of the top, it is what I call the core message is follow me. It was Microsoft and Adobe. Why? Because they are really in the space of the blend of monetizing the innovation of AI, and they have multiple stream of monetization. It is important for Microsoft. They make money in two ways. One, they sell you the compute power on Azure. That's number one. Great. Number two, it was the actual Microsoft AI Copilot per user, about $30 per month. It is significant. The same with Adobe. They generate the revenue from their AI embedded product. Then after that, kind of like core message, follow me. It is about the opposite. It's about look at me. It is about the innovation driven. They try to catch up with like the leader, like Microsoft, including Google, AWS, even OpenAI or Canva. The significance in this quadrant is all about they show the world and they want the attention from the world around their innovation. However, in terms of the performance of monetization, it is not there yet compared to Microsoft. Microsoft or Adobe, they make use of their dominance in the market, and that they basically use AI as another service offering. Because, and then after the quadrant of look at me, this is an overcrowded quadrant. I call it me too. It is the part where you will say it is more like say business driven AI adoption. For example, all the way from SAP to Oracle to Atlassian or UiPath in the space of automation or Tricentis. Literally, that quadrant, you have everyone try to have a co-pilot or something similar embedded into their product. And finally, last but not least, it is around those kind of like exclusive player in the quadrant I call get in line. In particular, Bloomberg GPT. Basically, they ingest the history of their transaction, of their know-how, and now they will offer their exclusive client with the access to this power and insight. So as you see, if you look closely at this quadrant, it simplifies a lot to think about your unique selling point. And you can easily visualize where you are and who you're going to compete with, and simplify the message and the offering. And now, last but not least, it was something I call sell the vibe, because it is the new era. There's something called dopamine, and dopamine booster was the key term. iPhone, it was almost 20 years ago. It was like instant gratification, anywhere, anytime, and personalization. It represents the age of mobile, where the world literally adopt and open up huge economic potential with mobile. And mobile come with that kind of like instant gratification, where they call the happy chemicals, the dopamine and instant reward, as the driver for the digital transformation. And we can see now we cannot live without mobile phone. Then moving on to today's, it is the dawn of AI powered buyer. I want to highlight two things: the expectation and the benchmark. For expectation, it is very simple now for the AI power buyer. They want things smarter, better, cheaper, faster, and human-centered design. And then with those, coupled with those expectations, is about the benchmark. The benchmark here, you can call it user customer experience, but I think it is more around the behavior. Now they want the attention, the automation, and customization. Why? Let me get through it. Attention, it is like, it is the thing that we keep hearing about, the virtual assistant. It is about the new product with AI power services. It has to pay attention to the individual, not the other way around. Secondly, automation, it has to bring to the level of automation that the customer see it is good enough or exceed their expectation. So it's no longer just always on, anywhere, anytime connected. It is about automation. Then last but not least, it is customization. It is no longer personalization is enough. Think about the mass of customization in the way of how ChatGPT really wow us all last year. So we put in the same prompt, we will have a different answer. That is customization at scale, and the customer want it. So from those two aspects, I share with you the matrix, a service product powered by AI. So basically, if you use this matrix, you can come up with some roadmap or some sort of like goal, and you can visualize, this is my service offering to this particular group customer, out of what you already have with, let's say, customer journey or interview. Think about this way as another way to capture something that have never been done before. So I'll quickly go through the two case study of Intel and KLM Airline to demonstrate the 5 approach that we have been through. First, with Intel, what we have here is the case study where they change themselves from the to those back in the day, where they changed literally the approach for processor, for PC processor, from 2A6, 3A6. They dropped it. They call it Intel Inside. It is a bold move. They sell the vibe, they sell the unique selling point, and they sell the potential, because it's the trademark. The service offering, yes, they have premium, Pentium, and Celeron. It's more like affordable. However, they repeat it. They keep repeating over and over, and it was truly successful over almost like 30 years now, since 1991. It was groundbreaking. And I think it is a great way to think about technical products that you, or service that you offer. It has to be somehow encapsulate the feeling and the imagination of the customer. Especially think about the Intel case study. They target not only the technical expert, they target the decision maker as well. And by visualize it, encapsulate it into that trademark, Intel Inside, it set something simple but sticky, and they can expand it, they can reuse it over the year. You can think of it and try it for yourself. Then another case study, I think it's quite relevant. It's from KLM, the Dutch airline. They embrace customer service automation since 2015 and AI adoption very early on. So they go through all the way from embedded to customer service in the form of social media, all the way to apps. Then they uplifted to service recovery. In another word, if your flight was canceled or the connect flight was delayed, when you walk to the front line staff, immediately that staff will be able to give you all the information you need, all the help that you want, timely. So it was amazing how they step it up from just very simple customer service all the way to the end-to-end customer experience. And lately, they move into sustainability as well. Based on the booking information, they run through their model called TRACE in order to reduce the food waste due to no-show. So with all this activity from KOM, you can map it back to three things, three approach around service offering that I mentioned earlier. It is about the sell the delta, sell the vision and ecosystem, and sell the vibe. You can easily quantify the saving from embedded into customer service, service recovery, sustainability, but also you can see how they envision the airline service, and they build a whole ecosystem around sustainability, around the service on the ground that sometimes they do not have the control. For example, overseas airport, but still they have something to offer to build up that ecosystem to bring value and impact. And last but not least, it is about the vibe. People feel happy. They do not see any surprise or any disappointment from all the service that KOM have put it up front for them. It shows the care and also the commitment. Right, so it has been a thorough conversation around Reimagine Service Offering. So just highlight a couple of key takeaways in the form of do and don't. In terms of the do, there are 5 things. Certainly, it is about the 5 approach of reimagine the service, your service offering, including sell the vision and ecosystem, sell the vibe, sell the potential, sell the USP. But after all, think about AI as a general purpose technology, not a point solution. So from that starting point, you can have the right conversation and manage the expectation and drive to the right outcome and growth in this day and age of AI. Moving on to the 5 don't, I would highlight a few things around the first point. Ignore the technical maturity of AI technology. It is so critical that you think about the journey that electricity had taken to be where it is now. It took 200 years for the stage of discovery, invention, experimentation, before we have finally find a way to make benefit and at scale safely. So the maturity of AI technology is critical. However, it doesn't mean that we will stop and wait. We adopt it, but with the right mindset. The second point is about start with what is the ask to build our AI power service. Don't think about the ask. Don't think about that question as the starting point with your technical team, because it's a wrong approach. Start with the price. Start with the niche market. and have the conversation with the technical team in order to find the common ground, the right target, the right niche, and as the capabilities of AI mature, you can have that step-by-step approach. Don't read out all specification of the next AI model and hope that all problem solve. It's self-explanatory. Mm, and please don't use the phrase the future of XYZ over and over again. It will overload your stakeholders, decision maker, and yeah, it's just not a good position. Then last but not least, I'd like to wrap up today's session with the point around the promise that AI service design or product development as a milestone base in terms of iterative investment. It is important because it is this point relate to the maturity of AI technology. So you can't treat AI technology as if it is a mature technology and then break it down to a milestone. Have the experimentation mindset and be willing to learn and quickly move on from the project. Don't break it into milestone base and then rush for the expected outcome. It is not sustainable and it won't give you the competitive advantage. So that is all from me for today, John. I hope that you find a thing or two that are relevant. I'm happy for the next session around Q&A.
Well, I think you have delivered a very thought-provoking presentation, Eric. I mean, first time I've looked at this general purpose technology and really appreciate how you've articulated it, right? This is something very unique because I always had this type, or should I say, follow this so-called where everybody got so excited and passionate about the AI technology, right? That things are just exploding right in front of our eyes. But the way that you framed it, that as a general purpose technology, that kind of got me to think, Nonetheless, we do have questions in the Q&A. Allow me to read out the questions from our audience here today. This is from Charlotte. Charlotte is actually interested to get your thoughts on what other challenges do you foresee in balancing the innovation with costs and risks involved, specifically on AI adoption today. Eric, could you share some thoughts on this?
Thank you, John. And thank you, Charlotte, for your great questions. For your question around risk and cost during the time that we adopt AI, may I just quickly bring back the point I shared here? It is this slide. It is about cell divide, even though we call it cell divide, but actually the attention, it is around the expectation and the benchmark. We talk about risk and cost. It was from, I think in a way, it referred to the good old triangle, pick two, quality, time, and cost. However, at this stage in the age, the expectation actually dictate the conversation and then the price, the cost. As you can see, the customer expecting to be cheaper, especially think about the, as I mentioned in the news, we talk about the softening of purchasing power. What does it mean? It means your answer already been there. There's no brainer. The question is, there's no blank check in terms of money.
Got it.
So the expectation is there. It's cheaper, faster, better, and smarter. How do you do it? So yeah, we can see, like say, in the conventional practice, we talk about customer journey. However, as you can see from my slide, it highlights the risk that the technology is still at the early day. So treat it and appreciate the level of maturity. So don't take things for granted because it is the risk. So in order to balance the elements of risk and cost, I would say you start small with this matrix, essentially. because it's like if you want to say, okay, I want to minimize the risk, then out of the 3 benchmark, for example, attention, automation, and customization, you pick one, and you say, okay, this is the high level. And then you go back to the 5 expectation. You then say, okay, this is the level of risk and the level of money I can commit to make it faster. Is it like priorities? Or to make it better by introduce way more like bell and whistle features. So that is the kind of, I would say, from a practical approach, you will have a lot of attention from the leaders if you see things and present in that way. It's very simple, but to the point. I hope it will, yeah, it does give Charlotte some idea. Thank you.
I think that's great advice, Eric. It's very simple and very practical in that sense, using the matrix that you've just shared with us. We probably have time for one more question.
Sure.
Allow me to bring that up. This is from our audience, William. William is actually quite interested to know, how can enterprise measure the return on investment on their AI investment when we put it on service or modernization? So what do you suggest what that enterprise should be looking at?
Absolutely, the ROI, it is spot on what we have here. You sell the delta. What is the delta?
Right.
People keep talking about the ROI and try to have the magic number. The ROI, it has to be over 30% to make it worth it, to make it all the way to the pipeline. I was part of those conversations a number of times.
Right.
I can feel it. Even the ANZ CIO, a few weeks ago, he attended to the Australian Computer Society, and the session was around measuring ROI at the time of modernization, IT modernization. For me, it's very simple. You still have the ROI in mind, but start with the dead end answer. Is it make money? Is it save money? Does it generate value? How do you measure it? I always provide some toolkit, but at the end of the day, it is about you have to come and see real people. It is not a value-driven process alone. Why? Because you are blind by what you have access to. The data gonna lead you to the direction where you actually do not feel the big picture. So my advice is, in order to measure the delta, you actually have to see and spend time with people and see the future, the coming future to the company. Then you will have a sense of, okay, this is the generate value, then it will match these. In terms of save money, yes, it is a great idea, but how long it gonna last to save the money and make money? It is important. How big is the market? What is the price? So you don't try to wow the CIO or the CFO in particular with the ROI. You have to tell them very simple term. What is the price? Is it a growing niche market? And can you show me your way of thinking of making money or saving money? Then the conversation around ROI, you can control it. You can narrow it down. That's my take on that question.
Right. I think that's, again, very practical advice from you, Eric. Saving money, making money, and look at the value that we can derive from any of those initiatives. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Hopefully that answers the questions raised by William from our audience. Eric, it's always a pleasure to have you keep sharing your thought leadership on some of these topics here. I've actually learned quite a few framework and ideas from you, especially on the delta itself. I'm definitely going to use that in my work as well with some of my customers. Thank you, Eric, for really contributing to Big Data Days 2024. We wish you a very happy evening ahead. I know it's really late in Canberra at this point in time, Australia. Thank you, Eric. We'll hope to see you again next year.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.